The salvage yard on outpost Kepler 7 stretched for miles, a graveyard of starship husks and forgotten machinery beneath twin amber suns. Elara Wynn picked her way through the debris field, her scanner chirping softly as she searched for usable components. At 19 standard years, she was one of the youngest independent salvagers in the sector. But her reputation for turning scrap into functional tech had earned her respect among the station's mixed population. She heard the whimpering before she saw him. Behind a collapsed bulkhead, partially hidden by twisted metal, lay a Crithari cub. The Crithari were apex predators from the forest moon of Vex Prime, standing 8 feet tall when fully grown, with obsidian fur, razor-sharp claws, and a warrior culture that valued strength above all else. This cub, however, was small, barely 4 feet, and his left hind leg was mangled beyond recognition, crushed beneath fallen debris. Elara's breath caught. The cub's golden eyes tracked her movement, pupils dilating with fear and pain. Most species would have fled from a Crithari. Even a wounded youngling, their clans were notoriously protective, and their concept of mercy was limited. But Elara had never been like most people. She approached slowly, hands raised, her voice soft. "Hey there, little one. I'm not going to hurt you." The cub growled, a sound that rattled in his chest. But he couldn't move. His breathing was shallow, labored. Elara could see the crushed limb had been trapped for hours, maybe days. The wound was infected, green ichor seeping from torn flesh. She knew what the Crithari did to their crippled. They abandoned them. Weakness had no place in their clans. "Your name?" she asked gently, crouching just out of reach. The cub's translator collar standard issue for all sentient species on the outpost crackled. "Threx," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "Leave me. I am broken." Elara shook her head. Broken things can be fixed. Over the next 3 hours, she carefully freed Threx from the debris. She administered pain suppressors from her medkit and treated the infection as best she could. The leg was destroyed, there was no saving it, but as she looked at the frightened cub, an idea began to form. She had been working on an experimental mobility frame for damaged equipment, with modifications. "Threx," she said, meeting his eyes. "I can't fix your leg, but I can build you something better." The cub's ears flattened against his skull. "My clan will not take me. I am useless now." "Then screw your clan," Elara said simply. "You're coming with me." The next 2 weeks tested every skill Elara possessed. She worked 18-hour days in her workshop, a cramped unit in the station's lower levels. Threx watched from a makeshift bed, his wounds slowly healing under her care. The armor she designed was unlike anything in the known galaxy. Using salvaged durasteel plating, servo motors from a decommissioned cargo mech, and neural interface technology she'd modified from mining exoskeletons. Elara crafted a mechanical leg that would integrate directly with Threx's nervous system, but she didn't stop there. The Crithari were warriors, and Threx would need more than mobility to survive. She built the prosthetic into a full combat harness, lightweight armor that enhanced his natural strength, protected his vital organs, and turned his disability into an advantage. The mechanical leg was faster than organic muscle, capable of delivering devastating kicks. Retractable claws extended from the foot, sharper than any natural weapon. When she finally strapped the armor onto Threx, his eyes widened. He stood on all fours for the first time in weeks, the servos whirring softly as they responded to his thoughts. He took one step, then another. Then he leaped, clearing 6 feet with ease. The cub turned to Elara, and for the first time, she saw something other than pain in his expression. "Hope." "Why?" Threx asked, his voice stronger now. "Why help me? Humans and Crithari have no alliance." Elara smiled, exhaustion evident in her face. "Because you needed help." "That's enough." Word spread quickly through the outpost. A human had saved a Crithari cub, had armed him. The station's Crithari population, a hunting pack of 15 adults, came to her workshop 3 days later. Elara stood at her doorway, facing the pack's alpha, a massive female named Skarath whose scars told of countless battles. Threx stood beside Elara, his new armor gleaming, his posture proud. The salvage yard fell silent as every species on the station watched. Scareth studied Alara for a long moment, her predatory gaze unreadable. Then she did something unprecedented in Crathari history. She lowered her head in a bow of submission. The youngling was cast out. Scareth growled, her voice like grinding stone. By our law, he was dead. You gave him not just life, but honor. You gave him strength when we saw only weakness. The Alpha raised her head, and her eyes blazed with fierce intensity. You have shown us what we failed to see, that true strength is not in the body, but in the spirit, and in the one who lifts the fallen. Scareth placed a massive paw over her heart. From this day, Alara Wynn, you are Pakthuri clan sister. Our claws are your claws. Our lives are your shield. Any who threaten you threaten the pack. This, we swear by blood and honor. One by one, every Crathari in the pack repeated the oath, their voices rising in a harmonic growl that echoed across the outpost. Alara felt tears prick her eyes. She looked down at Threx, who stood tall and strong in his armor, and she smiled. I just did what anyone should do, she said quietly. Scareth's lips pulled back, revealing rows of razor teeth, the Crathari equivalent of a smile. That, Pakthuri, is why we swear. In the years that followed, Alara Wynn became a legend across the sector. Not for her salvaging skills, though those remained unmatched. Not for her engineering genius, though she revolutionized prosthetic technology for dozens of species. She became a legend because wherever she went, 15 Crathari warriors followed, and at the head of that pack walked Threx, the crippled cub who became the fiercest fighter of his generation. His mechanical leg a symbol not of weakness, but of the human who refused to abandon him. In a galaxy that often measured worth by strength, one human girl had proven that compassion was the greatest power of all.